I mean, my answer is a little similar to what you just said, which is I kind of love topics that don't seem like they're going to involve math, that come from other areas. And what we're going to do is dig in and find the math that's there. Almost like Freakonomics was this very popular book, 20 years ago, that kind of uncovered these hidden patterns through data. I think there's a lot of similar things we can do with math, where there's things that topics, like you said, philosophy and art and all these wide ranging things where they don't sound like they're mathematical, but I think it's really fun and interesting and sometimes helpful and powerful to find that there is math there. So I would say not necessarily a topic. I don't want to pin myself to a specific one, but I think there is a lot of opportunity to find things that people don't realize are as mathy as they are. Or another way to put it is I think math is really a lens. It's a way of thinking. And I think we're going to apply that perspective and that way of thinking to a lot of topics and see what it says about those topics.
I think that we actually, as mathematicians, it is a public service that we're doing to be able to just dive deep into something, whether or not we know the answer. If not, we find somebody who is an expert in the topic that should know the answer, or we source that out one way or another.
That's something I've found because I do, as I mentioned, this media conference I went to, and I've gone to other conferences in other fields. Something I will humbly brag about the math community. I think we're very good at admitting that there's a lot we don't know, because in math, there are famously open problems that, no one has ever solved and maybe no one ever will. There are really hard problems. And you just kind of go into math knowing like, okay, I'm going to know some tiny piece of math and there'll be a huge amount that I don't know. And that's fine. Whereas I think in a lot of other disciplines, there's pressure if you're an expert. Like if you're a historian, you should know what happened. You should know the history. And I think mathematicians are just really good at understanding that our job is not to know everything, but it's to recognize the limits of what we know and what we don't, and to push that boundary. And I've just found like I go to these conferences and people are like, oh, they're really impressed with my ability to field questions. And I say it's just because I don't feel like I have to know the answers. My favorite answer to give is, that's an amazing question. Absolutely. Let's think about that some more. I don't know the answer. My favorite answer is, I don't know the answer. And I don't see enough people saying that or admitting that, but it's fun and it's liberating to say, I don't know.